Hello and welcome back to week 3. So today for our lesson, we are going to talk about the importance of plants. So just for a little background information, plants impact our daily lives in many different ways. You may not realize how many products actually contain plants, and in order to effectively grow the plants we use so often, it's helpful to know what influences plant growth. So landforms, yearly precipitation, annual frost-free days, and native vegetation all play a role in where farmers and gardeners choose to grow their crops in Iowa. So today we are going to be creating a mind map of the importance of plants, and then we're going to talk about how crops grow in Iowa and where specifically they grow. So for starters, I want you to either open up a Google Doc or take out a sheet of paper, and we're going to talk about what different things can be used for plants. So what type of plants can be put into certain products or used for in our daily lives. So if you haven't heard of a mind map, it's just kind of like a bubble map. So you're going to put in the center importance of plants in a circle, and then off of it you're going to draw lines and you're going to list out different things in different categories that we've used plants during our everyday lives. So go ahead and do that, pause this video, and when you're finished I will show you some of the things that I came up with. Okay, so this is my mind map, and as you can see, it has lines coming off of it that show you the different things that I came up with. So I said economic value, and that just means how we buy and sell plants and produce in our lives, so they're very important for that reason. Oxygen, trees and plants help us breathe. They create carbon monoxide for us to breathe. And then we have medicine. There are many different products, medicine products that we use that contain plants, different kinds of plants and herbs. Beauty, there are many products that we use also for makeup products or skincare products that help us. Building materials, there are so many ways that we use plants in our lives for building materials. We use wood for many things, and I'm sure that you can think of some things right off the bat. Fiber, lots of plants and vegetables and fruits contain this, and this helps our bodies. And then obviously food. So we eat obviously many vegetables and fruits in our lives. Okay, so next I want you to name and list some important agricultural crops that we grow here in Iowa. So, and then for each crop that you list out, I would like you to develop a hypothesis of why these crops grow in each particular part of Iowa. So take a second to do that, and then come back when you have those written down. So some that I came up with, some important crops that we grow here in Iowa are soybeans, corn, oats, hay, and wheat, just to name a few. And then for why they grow in Iowa, I actually have a map to show you. But first, a fun fact for you, 85% of land in Iowa is farmed. So that means that 85% of the land that is here in Iowa we use for fields and farming. So that's a lot if you think about it, 85%. So I'm going to show you this map of Iowa. Okay, so this is what's called a plant hardiness zone map. So this is a map of Iowa, and as you can see, it has different colors of blue. And this shows the temperatures of the areas in Iowa so that you can see the best places to grow crops. So there's a key over here, and it says the average annual extreme minimum temperature. So the dark blue areas show that the average temperature, the low temperature is -25 to -20, so that's these areas in the very far north of our state. So these certain counties up here in the northwestern part and just the northern and northeastern part of Iowa. And then the next one shows -20 to -15, so that's a little bit lighter of a blue, and that makes up actually a good part of our state. So that makes up this whole area that you see right here. So that's a big part. And we're in Marshalltown, so Marshall County is right here, and we are within that. So our extreme minimum temperature is -20 to -15. So that sounds about right because that's usually what it is here in the winter for the really, really low temperatures. And then we have a little bit lighter blue, and that's more of southern Iowa, as you can see, because you're getting farther south. And so that's all of these counties down here, towards the very southern part. And then green is -10 to -5. So as you can see, we don't really have any green in Iowa because Iowa is a pretty cold state. So in the winter, it stays pretty cold here. So there's a little bit of green down here. You can kind of see that. And that would be at the very tip of the bottom of Lee County. So that's the most southern part of Iowa, is in Lee County down here. And that is where you find the green, so the -10 to -5 temperatures. So this is just a cool map that shows you how cold it actually gets here in Iowa, and that can kind of help you when you're determining which zones are best to plant in. So a lot of plants and crops thrive growing in southern Iowa because those temperatures are a little bit more mild than if you were up here. But as you can see, Marshall County is actually not that far away from Jasper, and that's where it starts to get lighter blue. So central Iowa isn't as bad as obviously northern Iowa and these areas over here and over here. But I just wanted to show you that map. So that is all I have for our lesson today. So I want you to think of 3 uses of plants that you learned about during the lesson that we did today. And then think about the hypothesis that you developed while looking at the maps of Iowa. So where are the best places that those crops can grow? And that is all I have for you today. So I will see you back here for week 4.